India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil logo, theme and website of India's G20 presidency today. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to hold talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow today. India says global pace of climate mitigation is not enough to contain the rate of climate change. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated with religious fervour across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participates in Guru Nanak Jayanti celebrations. Total lunar eclipse to take place today. And Sumit and Narinder storm into semi-finals of Asian Boxing Championships in Amman in Jordan. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil the logo, theme and website of India's G20 presidency through video conferencing today. The logo, theme and website will reflect India's message and overarching priorities to the world. Guided by the vision of Mr. Modi, the foreign policy of India has been evolving to undertake leadership roles on the global stage. In a significant step in this direction, India will assume the G20 presidency from the 1st of next month. It offers a unique opportunity to India to contribute to the global agenda on pressing issues of international importance. G20 is the premier forum for international economic cooperation, representing around 85% of the global GDP, over 75% of global trade, and about two-thirds of the world population. During the course of its G20 presidency, India will be holding about 200 meetings in 32 different sectors in multiple locations across India. The G20 summit to be held next year will be one of the highest-profile international gatherings to be hosted by India. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has reached Moscow on a two-day visit to Russia. Dr. Jaishankar will hold talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow today. During the meeting, discussions will be held between the two leaders on the entire range of bilateral issues and various regional and international developments. The talks will focus on the trade, investments, transport, logistics, use of national currencies in mutual settlement and energy sector projects in the Arctic Shelf and the Russian Far East. Both the leaders will exchange assessments of the current international issues with an emphasis on interaction within the United Nations, Shanghai Cooperation Organization and G20. According to the Russian Foreign Ministry statement, the ministers will also discuss a host of regional issues, including the formation of a security architecture in the Asia-Pacific region, the situation around the Iranian nuclear problem, state of affairs in Afghanistan, Syria and Ukraine. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, has said that the global pace of climate mitigation is not enough to contain the rate of climate change. He said there is an urgent need for the world to acknowledge the cascading natural hazards that cause substantial losses around the world. Mr. Yadav was speaking at the UN Secretary-General High-Level Round Conference during the launch of the Executive Action Plan for the Early Warnings at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. The minister said with climate finance still scarce, climate adaptation in the form of early warning dissemination is key in safeguarding lives and livelihoods. He added that early warnings for all play a part in not just containing the immediate physical impacts, but also mitigating the far-reaching long-term socio-economic implications. Highlighting India's work done in this field, Mr. Yadav said, India has been working on strengthening end-to-end early warning systems for all hydrometeorological hazards, which led to reduced mortality from cyclones by up to 90% over the last 15 years. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, has said that India is committed towards clean and green energy source and National Hydrogen Mission is a leap in that direction. The minister said this at the Middle East Green Initiative Summit 2022 on the sidelines of COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. He said that India has also initiated a number of coalitions such as International Solar Alliance, which is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to bring clean and affordable energy. The Ministry of Power has issued amendment in the revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. The Power Ministry said a committee under Central Electricity Authority will recommend to the state government the ceiling limit of service charges to be levied. The committee will also recommend time of the day rate for service charges as well as the discount to be given for charging during solar hours. Campaigning in Himachal Pradesh is reaching its peak as only 2 days are left for the election campaign. On one hand, while BJP and Congress are continuously sending their star campaigners to the state for campaigning, on the other hand, both sides are accusing each other through daily press conferences. More from our correspondent.
Both the major political parties of the state are counter-attacking each other by holding a press conference in the state capital Shimla on a regular basis. Referring to BJP's Sankalp Patra, Sachin Pilot said in a press conference that BJP is completely silent on OPS because if it talks about implementing here, then it will have to be implemented in other states of the country also. He said BJP is doing politics to divert attention from the issues. On the other hand, State Deputy President of BJP Payal Ved said Congress has always neglected and weakened women power. On the contrary, the BJP ensured the safety of women, provided them facility and made them self-reliant. She said the BJP has prepared the Sankalp Patra keeping women at the center, while the Congress is misleading women and the public by giving false guarantees. Sanjeev Sundaryal, AIR News, Shimla.
In Gujarat, rallies and public meetings are being organized by various political parties as part of their campaign for assembly elections. Aam Aadmi Party convener Arvind Kejriwal, Congress leader Ashok Gehlot, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi were campaigning yesterday. Meanwhile, all parties have accelerated the process of selection of candidates as the last date of filing the nominations is coming closer. The last date of filing nominations is the 14th of this month. A report.
The BJP Parliamentary Board is meeting tomorrow to finalize the names of the candidates for the assembly polls. According to state BJP officials, the first list of the party is likely to be released on 11th of this month. Meanwhile, the Aam Aadmi Party released the 11th list of 12 candidates for the assembly polls yesterday. So far, the party has announced the names of 151 candidates out of the total 182 constituencies. Bharatiya Tribal Party also released its first list of 12 candidates. The Congress Party has so far released the names of 43 candidates. Aparna Khun, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Guru Nanak Jayanti or Gurpurab is being celebrated with religious fervour across India and the world today. It marks the birth of the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who laid the foundation of Sikhism. This year marks the 553rd birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. On this day, devotees around the world offer prayers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in a function on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti in New Delhi yesterday. On the 553rd birth anniversary celebration of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the Prime Minister offered prayers. The celebration took place at the residence of Chairperson of National Commission for Minorities, Iqbal Singh Lalpura. Union Minister Hardeep Puri and several dignitaries were present during the function. On this occasion, the Prime Minister said, the country has made tremendous progress with the blessing of Gurus. He said Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji guided the people to live their lives and his preachings became the guiding light in these turbulent times.
आज आजादी के अमृत काल में देश इसी गुरु मंत्र पर चलकर 130 करोड़ भारतवासियों के जीवन कल्याण की भावना से आगे बढ़ रहा है। आजादी के अमृत काल में देश ने अपनी संस्कृति, अपनी विरासत और हमारी आध्यात्मिक पहचान पर गर्व का भाव जागृत किया है। आजादी के अमृत काल को देश ने कर्तव्य की पराकाष्ठा तक पहुंचाने के लिए कर्तव्य काल के रूप में माना है और आजादी के इस अमृत काल में देश समता, समरसता, सामाजिक न्याय और एकता के लिए सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास के मंत्र पर चल रहा है.
Highlighting the various initiatives taken by the government for empowering the Sikh tradition in the country, the Prime Minister said his government is working to complete the Delhi-Amritsar Katra Expressway project expeditiously. He said the Citizenship Amendment Act has facilitated the Sikh community to reside in India who were the victims of partition.
साथियों, विभाजन के हमारे पंजाब के लोगों ने, हमारे देश के लोगों ने जो बलिदान दिया, उसकी स्मृति में देश ने विभाजन विभीषिका स्मृति दिवस की शुरुआत भी की है। विभाजन के शिकार हिंदू सिख परिवारों के लिए हमने सीएए कानून बनाकर उन्हें नागरिकता देने का भी एक मार्ग बनाने का प्रयास किया है। अभी आपने देखा होगा, गुजरात ने विदेश में पीड़ित और प्रताड़ित सिख परिवारों को नागरिकता देकर उन्हें एहसास दिलाया है कि दुनिया में सिख कहीं भी है, भारत उसका अपना घर है।
A total lunar eclipse will take place today. People in Asia, Australia, North America, parts of Northern and Eastern Europe, most of South America, the North Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean will witness the total lunar eclipse. In India, the eclipse will be visible from all places at the time of moonrise. The eclipse will begin at 14 hours 39 minutes Indian Standard Time. The total eclipse will start at 15 hours 46 minutes IST. A United Kingdom magistrate court has cleared the request for extradition of middleman Sanjay Bhandari to India in connection with money laundering and tax evasion charges. District Judge Michael Snow pronounced his order on 2 requests of the Indian government for Bhandari's extradition. The accused may challenge the verdict in a higher court of appeal. The first extradition plea, sent on 15th of April 2020, pertained to the money laundering offence being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate, and the second, dated June 2nd, 2021, was about the allegations of tax evasion under the Black Money Act. In the United States, more than 42 million voters have cast early ballots ahead of today's midterm elections. Voting will be held for all 435 seats in the House of Representatives, while 35 are up for grabs in the Senate. Additionally, 36 out of 50 states will elect governors. Most of the 50 U.S. states allow voters to cast ballots early, either in person or by mail. According to the U.S. Elections Project's latest data, more than 19.44 early votes have cast in person and 22.9 million by mail, for a total of 42.4 million. Democrats and Republican candidates are making their last-ditch efforts to sway the voters to their sides. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended his greetings on the occasion of Kartik Purnima and Dev Deepavali, the festivals that are symbols of India's ancient culture, spirituality and tradition. In a tweet, the Prime Minister wished that this occasion, associated with the holy bath and lamb donation, may infuse new energy in everyone's life. On to sports now. Indian boxers Sumit and Narendra have stormed into the semi-finals of the Asian Championships in Amman, Jordan, ensuring 2 more medals for India. While Sumit defeated Thailand's Borwan Kadamdoan 3-2 in men's 75 kg category, Narendra eased past Iran's Iman Ramezanpour Dilaver 5-0 in men's 92 plus kg to ensure India's 12th medal at the continental meet. Sumit will end up against the defending champion Jafarov Saeed Jamshed of Uzbekistan in the last 8 on Thursday, while Narendra's opponent will be determined later. And now, for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to VC Pramod.
Thank you, Sarah. Papers have noticed different stories while all have highlighted the Supreme Court's verdict. Hindustan Times headlines, Court upholds 10% quota for EWS in landmark 3-2 verdict, while the Indian Express reports quota for general poor gets top court seal. The Statesman writes PM Modi to unveil logo, theme and website of India's G20 presidency. The Hindu notes political churnings down south. Governor alleges constitutional collapse in Kerala. Hindustan Times has noted comments of Union Minister for Environment Bhupendra Yadav, who is attending the COP27 in Egypt. Early warning systems key to saving lives, says Yadav at COP27. And finally, the Times of India writes, Elton and Freddie rock. India's first cheetah killed in 75 years. The 2 male cheetahs brought from Namibia to Kuno National Park killed their first prey on Sunday night within 24 hours of being released from a quarantine into a larger enclosure.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil logo, theme and website of India's G20 presidency today. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to hold talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow today. India says global pace of climate mitigation is not enough to contain the rate of climate change. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated with religious fervour across the country. Prime Minister Modi participates in Guru Nanak Jayanti celebrations. Total lunar eclipse to take place today. And in sports, Sumit and Narendra storm into semi-finals of Asian Boxing Championships in Amman, Jordan. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.